A whole year has passed, but what really happened? Did you obtain your goals, or were you just living life on repeat? It is time to wake up to reality of who you are today and where you need to go for your dream life, your dream career, or dream vacation. Do this before you create another vision board to stop living life on repeat and truly manifest your dream life. It's time to complete an end of year reflection. Let me explain. It starts with looking at life right now and reflecting on the past year to find out the patterns, the habits, experiences that will take you to your highest potential, but with intention this time. This isn't about just making New Year goals, but really looking at your life to see what made you feel alive this year, what habits that might have made you fall off your goals. Keep what you want and leave behind what does not before the new year starts. So truly, this can be the best year yet. And in this video, I'll be sharing with you how I personally like to reflect before the end of the year. And I realized that when I don't reflect at all on the past year, I tend to make the same mistakes over and over, and sometimes get stuck in a cycle, which causes me to feel frustrated and disappointed when I don't achieve my goals. Has that happened to you too? Well, this reflection is easy. All I do is take out my calendars, a journal, and a pen. And if you want to do this reflection and don't use an actual physical calendar, go ahead and open your digital calendar. Maybe that is on your phone, your laptop, like your Google Calendar or your Outlook. And this year, I used both a physical calendar and my Google Calendar. Also, I have to add, in the past, I've completed this end of the year reflection with someone who does not use calendars at all. Because they don't use a calendar, I told them to open the Photos app on their phone, mainly because pictures are documentations of events, and they also have timestamps on your phone. But maybe you have all three. You have your physical calendar, your digital calendar, and you want to go ahead and open that Photos app on your phone. That's fine. Do what fits you best. Go for it. And I know when I've completed my end of year reflection for this year, I did the same. And additionally, if you want to go even deeper, if you journal daily, go ahead and take out your journals or your journal and read through those prompts if you have the time, that is. Do whatever works best for you. This is supposed to be fun and reflective. Overall, the end of the year reflection process is simple, but can be timely. So make sure you allocate at least 1 to 2 to sometimes 3 hours at a time. After I have my calendars, a journal to write in, and a pen ready, I write down on the top of the page January 2025 or whatever year it is. And then I'll flip to January in that calendar. I'll review the month, the dates, and in the journal under the month's name, I start creating like a bullet list, and I start writing any habits, any patterns or events like birthdays, conferences, speeches, parties that I have attended. Basically, anything that had happened during that particular month that created any type of change. This could be either positive or negative change. I write it all out, the good and sometimes maybe not so good. If I got sick, if I worked out consistently 2 to 3 times, I write that down. If I started something new, if I traveled. This is my personal reflection. I'm trying to learn about what actually happened. So not only do I reflect, but I'm also growing from this. An example of some bullet points from January 2022 were worked out 3 times a week, completed a winter course, and there were some snow days. And I'll repeat this process for each month. I will write down as much as I can, and I really take my time with this reflection because, again, I'm here to learn. There are some months where there's not much going on, and I only have maybe 3 or 4 bullet points in that month, and that's okay. And then there are other months where there may be, 8 to 10 bullet points. We all have busy seasons and at times slow seasons of life. That is normal. This year, I've added a plus sign to each bullet point if it created maybe a positive experience for me, or if it was a negative experience, I added a negative sign or a minus sign. As for positive experience, if I wanted to continue doing them, I went a step ahead and I circled the bullet points to indicate that I want to incorporate these experiences more in the upcoming year, and more on that later in the video. As for the minus signs or negative experiences, sometimes I'm writing a comment next to it on what made it a negative experience and how it made me feel, if I did anything either in that month or in the upcoming months to tackle it, or if I want to do something in the future to work on that problem. And again, this is a active reflection of each month. And that way we're going in deep. And that way, if there are patterns or experiences, we're not bringing them again in the upcoming year. And if they're good things, we are doing more of them, especially if they made you feel amazing, alive. Also, on a side note, while I was doing this reflection 2 days ago, what was coming up for me were other things. And so on a separate sheet of paper, I would write those things down, those thoughts, to come back and reflect on them after I've completed this reflection. So that way they're set aside in the mind too. And make this reflection your own. You'll figure out how you want to do it. But remember these core foundational things. Going through each month, going through your calendars or your photos, documenting what really happened, how it made you feel, and if you want to continue certain patterns, experiences. And with this process, it's bringing awareness to what is actually happening instead of unconsciously living life. And with this step alone, you will notice a massive change, a shift in your life, because you're going to recognize that, oh wow, every year I have this one repetitive pattern. I need to break it. I want to break it. Or for an example, like me, in the month of August of this year, I realized I was going through something similar to this. I was running trials for this one project and they were very successful. But because I was going through somewhat of a busy season of life with some other projects at the time, I couldn't launch that project for the public. And that's something that I really want to work on in this upcoming year. It made me realize that for the past 5 months, almost 6 now, I was putting this one project on hold when it actually is whole and complete. All I have to do is launch it and just need to get out of my way. If I didn't do this reflection, I think my mind was telling me, Wajiha, it's only been, like 2 months. I wouldn't have realized it's almost 5 to 6 months. And that's somewhat shocking to me, and it really woke me up. After I completed the yearly reflection, I journal on things that came up for me, as I mentioned before, what I realized, what I need to improve on. I also do gratitude, and this really helps me paint a full picture of how much I've accomplished in the year. For example, in the beginning of the year, it was a spiritual season of life for me. Then somewhat in the middle of the year, it was a bit of play and figuring out what I want to do next. And towards the end of the year, which is now, it's been a season of work and accomplishing other goals. I became a certified life coach, launched my first course, and so much more. And that's just a very small reflection that I'm sharing with you, but it really helped put things in perspective for me. And personally, at times, when I look back in the moment, at times, I feel like I could do more without realizing that I'm already doing a lot. Or that I might be feeling that way because the goals I'm currently, focusing on are not what I want, causing me to feel unaligned and at times unfulfilled. I like that the end of the year reflection helps me figure out where most of my time went each month, who I spent it with or did not, what I did, and if it was at work, and how I spent the weekends and nights, especially, and if you're working, and at times, it has helped me figure out what I was lacking. Many years ago, in one of my first corporate jobs, I would come home exhausted after work, and I would watch a show instead of doing something productive with my time, like spending time with family. It wasn't until I reflected on this, I realized what was happening and that I could easily prioritize family more after doing the reflection. And if you chose to do this reflection, write as much or a little as you want and figure out what's been happening, really going on. This is your reflection. No one's going to see it. My reflection is for me and it's only going to benefit me. Once you completed the reflection, I want to now share my sticky note method to plan for experiences in advance. But before I share that method, I also want to discuss having a yearly bucket list. This is completely optional. I've learned about this on social media when COVID happened. After things started to open back up, people were noticing and realizing how precious life was and to really experience life to the max. As the famous quote goes, tomorrow is not promised, neither is the next moment. And with that said, according to string.com, a bucket list is defined as a number of experiences, accomplishments, achievements that a person hopes to have or accomplish during their lifetime. And for me, this yearly bucket list is exactly a part of that. It's for that year alone. Things I haven't done, but also things that I want to do again with family and friends. And maybe one thing on my bucket list, for example, is to travel to Spain this year. But this list also has other things that I want to experience again, like I mentioned before, like going to the beach in the summer, seeing 4th of July fireworks, taking fall photos. So things that I really want to do and happen every year, but I don't want to forget to do, I will kind of write them down on this list. And remember those positive experiences that I circled in the end of the year reflection? Well, everything that I circled, I will take them and I'll add them to this yearly bucket list. So everything is all together. For example, many years ago, I recognized that I really enjoy seeing the fireworks. And so that's why I put it on this list, and I continue to do so year after year as a reminder of it. I write down all this on a separate sheet of paper and keep it where I can review it easily. I don't really have a name for it, so I just name it yearly bucket list and I put it all together. And again, completely optional. It just helps keep me organized. Moving on, in December, I usually purchase a new calendar for the upcoming year, and I encourage you to also do the same. Get started on planning for the next year, which is exactly what we're doing with this end of the year reflection. Don't wait for December 31st or January to come along. Start today. And I receive my new calendar for the next year. Once I do, I start marking my new calendar with important dates, birthdays, events, conferences to my best ability to prepare for the sticky note method. Now, here is the sticky note method. I take 3 sticky notes. Ideally, all are different colors. If they're not, completely okay. I use regular size sticky notes and I will cut them to the size of my calendar. And I've shown how I do this method in my other calendar videos. If you are interested in watching those, I will leave them in the description down below. For the first sticky note on top, I will label it this month using bullet points and certain keywords to tell me what's going to happen this month without needing to, go through the entire calendar for important dates and events and experiences. For example, this month of December, I have on there winter lights, end of year reflection, a family birthday with the exact date. This helps me remember, if I have not already, to plan and schedule for the winter lights. Complete the end of the year reflection. Check, done. And prepare for the birthday. On the second sticky note, it is labeled as goals. These are goals for that particular month or what I want to experience in that month. For example, in December, a launch course, done. Meet up with friends at least once before the new year or just check in on them. Third sticky note, which I think is the most important and different from the other calendars, is I label it next month. So in the month of December, I'm already planning for the month of January. And in January's monthly calendar, I know what's coming in February and so forth. And I'll do this for each and every single calendar. Maybe it's a birthday. Maybe it's a party. This is a great way to remind me 1 month in advance that I need to prepare for that party or go buy a birthday present and wish that particular person well on that date. For the party, it could help me prepare for the food, the decor, checking on invitations, the preparation of the house, and etc. This allows me a whole month in advance to prepare. I don't really write all the little details on that sticky note. It's really tiny. As I mentioned before, I write keywords. For example, friend's birthday, the exact date, buy present, plan for party as a reminder. This prevents me from having to keep flipping the calendars, the months back and forth. Also, if I am regularly checking my calendar every day and maybe 2 to 3 times a week, it gives my mind exposure not only to my current goals, but also what's coming up in the upcoming month. And I have found this extremely helpful, not only for planning for my personal goals, but professional things. but to really keep me aligned with everything I do in all aspects of life. Therefore, I keep coming back to this sticky note method that I have created because it has changed and really helped me immensely. And yes, upfront, the time investment to do this process can be a lot. But in the long run, throughout the year, it is totally worth it. Plus, you don't need to do it all in one setting. I know I'll take a break here and there. This has helped me become more organized, and I just want to share it with someone. Maybe it will help them. Also, I review and update these sticky notes as needed. After the sticky notes have been completed for each month, let's talk about how I incorporate the yearly bucket list. So I'll take what I wrote in that list and I will add it to the sticky notes. So for example, in June, I will add 4th of July in the next month's sticky note because I know it's coming in the next month. Then I'll flip over to July in my calendar, and in July's goal sticky note, I will add the goal and experiences. This way I'm reminded 2 times and I'm more likely to do it. But all of this is in writing and we can plan all we want. And until I schedule it in the calendar with the exact time and date, it's what I like to call, it's in the air, right? It's like floating in the air. So after researching and planning and maybe coordinating with family and friends, I will schedule the plans of seeing the fireworks. Maybe in June, I will start discussing with other family members where we're planning on going, the location, the food. And once that is decided, I will pencil in the exact date in the monthly calendar with the time, date, location, and all the other details if needed, so it all comes together. After hearing all this, you may think that this is pretty repetitive. And yes, that's exactly the point for this, is to be repetitive, so the brain can remember. And the brain loves repetition, and that's exactly what I'm giving it with this sticky note method. If you enjoyed this video or gained any value or have any questions, please do leave me a comment in the description down below. And until next time.